Welcome everybody to Snake Cinema Reviews. I'm your host, Prince Elias. Got my girl Coils, and today we are reviewing Pray Away, a new documentary on Netflix by our boy Ryan Murphy. Yes, the Ryan Murphy who made the ever smash hit American Horror Story, along with and also the legendary Pose. Love Ryan Murphy. Even if he ain't writing and directing, he's producing, and he's giving all the people in the LGBTQ community the coins, the bag. If you need representation, even if it's not, the product isn't all that good, because some of his shows aren't all that good. You know, Pose and American Horror Story are great, but he's had some flops. You know he's gonna cast people of that community, and I'm grateful to him for that, because a lot of Hollywood execs, producers, directors, they not studying us. They're hiring cisgender or straight people to play us, not Ryan Murphy. So I'll give him his props for that. Anyways, he just produced a new documentary, and I wish I had my phone so I could tell you the actual director of this documentary. It's called Pray Away, and it's pretty much going over in the history of the ex-gay movement organization known as Exodus, and you know, the leaders, the people who founded it and started it, and basically, you know, back in the day, I think they started in the either the 80s or the 70s, I'm not sure, but they lasted for like over 30 years, just going out saying, you know, we prayed to God and we're no longer gay. He delivered us. We are straight again. He saved us from the demon of homosexuality and transgender. Only for 30 years later to come and say, oh yeah, we lied. That's some bullshit. We still here. We're still queer. We hurt and abused a lot of people on the way preaching this lie. So at first, when I first saw the concept, the trailer, whatever, preview that's on Netflix, I was like, this shit's gonna trigger the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna watch it. But then I was like, let me watch it. And so I watched it, and it didn't trigger the fuck out of me, because hey, I grew up in the Bible Belt, grew up in the church. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. All the bullshit of your sinful ways. You're going to hell for being gay or being trans or yada yada yada. So this was no different. The only hurtful thing was these were people in the community that were preaching this shit. Talking about some, oh, I prayed and now I'm cured, only to find out that behind closed doors you're watching gay porn. Doesn't look like you're cured to me, buddy. And I think all of the leaders or founders, except for one person who refused to be interviewed, just admitted, like, yeah, we fucked up and we're sorry, and now we're going around atoning and trying to make amends for hurting so many people, because they also, you know, they started a whole gay conversion therapy camps, which now we're seeing on the news that so many young people have died either by suicide or the abuse, the torture in those conversion camps. So yeah, so you know, if you choose to forgive these people, these group of people who started this terrorist organization, because to me they're terrorist organizations. They're terrorizing a group of people for no damn reason. People going to therapy, getting electric shock or rape by people of the opposite sex, or, you know, abuse, beaten down, like they're literally trying to beat the gay out of you. And it's like, Exodus and all gay conversion therapy organizations are terrorist groups in my eyes. A lot of people died from that. A lot of people a lot of young people committed suicide because of them. And it's just, and even those who survived and lived, they're dealing with the trauma, the PTSD and stuff. So, you know, if you choose to forgive them, you can. I'm not Jesus, so I ain't gotta forgive nobody. But I just feel, but I'm happy that the ones who admitted their mistakes are atoning for it, not just with this documentary, but outside of the whole documentary. Like they started programs and organizations and therapy and ironically, therapy groups to help heal the people they hurt. You know what I'm saying? But as a doc, it was a very interesting doc. It kept me engaged. I wasn't bored. I didn't fall asleep on it like that Jeffrey Epstein shit that was on Netflix. It was very engaging, and it was good to hear it straight from the horse's mouths. The people who started this shit, that they messed up. It was, you know, it's great to hear their voices, and it's also great to hear the voices of some of their victims. They did interview some people that they were their victims, that they hurt, and it was great to hear that too. Now along this documentary, they did follow a guy who is currently still, you know, on his own on Facebook and stuff, still doing the crap, and he got on my nerves. I got tired of seeing him. I was like, can we please stop going back to him? But at the end, one of the old leaders who admit his mistake said, as long as homophobia exists, there will be some part of Exodus around. As long as homophobia exists in the world, there's going to be some brackets of what they started. And then the camera showed the guy who is currently still doing the shit, abusing people, saying that, you know, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is going to hell, and you're you know, and you should pray the gay away. And so yeah, that was very powerful. That was a very powerful moment, and that's when the documentary ended. But it was very good, and I like that quote, because yes, and it kind of goes to a lot of things. As long as racism exists, you're gonna always have those coons, those people who are in the community going against their own people, you know, going, you know, rooting for the oppressors and the colonizers. You know, we will always have as long as racism still exists, we will always have those people who are in our community fighting against us, as well as the oppressors. And so yeah, that quote goes to a lot of things: homophobia, transphobia, racism, xenophobia. You know, as long as that exists, we're gonna have some people in our community that hates themselves because the phobias exist, because these things exist. It's because the oppressors exist, and they're oppressing us and hurting us. As long as the violence keep happening, we're gonna keep having people in our community who self-hate and hurt each other because of the self-hate. So it was very deep. I love that quote, and it's very powerful, and it could go for a lot of things. But anyways, the documentary was well shot, beautiful cinematography, love the interviews, and it was very compelling. I learned a lot. You know, I've always knew about the gay conversion therapy stuff shit, because it's on the news. You know, people are coming out exposing these camps and these therapists, these mental health experts who are just abusers, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Very educational, and it may be triggering for some. It didn't trigger me like I thought it would. I handled it very well emotionally and mentally, but it could trigger some people. Some people could watch it, hear the rhetoric, hear the stories, and just, especially if they've gone through those therapy camps. So watch with caution if you're in the community, or if you've dealt with these type of people, the Exodus organization, or churches or organizations like that. Please watch with caution, but it was fine for me. It was an easy watch for me. But very good. I will give this a 8.5 out of 10 if I was to rate it. It's on Netflix. If you already have the streaming service, it's practically free, so you don't have to go out to a theater and watch it. But it's very good watch. Very good documentary. I love documentaries, whether it's true crime, whether it's about music artists, whether it's about religious organizations, cults. Exodus was definitely a cult. It was definitely a terrorist group, in my humble opinion. But anyways, watch it, pray away. Ryan Murphy, you did a great job, and whoever the director was, you did a great job as well. I don't want to give Ryan all the credit. You know, he may have funded it, but I don't want to give him all the credit. But I don't have my phone right now to look up who the director is. But anyways, that's it for Snake Cinema Reviews. I'm your host, Prince Elias. This is my girl Coils, and we will check y'all in the next review. Peace.